how did you come up with the idea of the app icon book? Because was it like you were sitting browsing app store, saw some app icons, and was like, I should write a book about it?
Yeah.
Why did you decide that it will be interesting for?
Well, for the longest time, I didn't know if it would be.
You just wanted to do this.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, on Kickstarter, it boomed like this.
Yeah, it did. But I was really nervous launching it on Kickstarter. So I mean, maybe continuing the story from before, like app icon design became like a pretty central part of my graphic design career quite early. I really liked making icons. I think icon design is a great primer on design in general because it's everything that you need to master in good graphic design, but in such a confined canvas. I've been running workshops on icon design for years, and people that even don't really know design can go in and make an app icon, and they will have to learn about like scalability, uniqueness, legibility, contrast, like visual hierarchy, like all the little things. It's like a microcosm of design in that little thing. So wow, I've always loved icons. And back before the iPhone came out, I was part of this now steeped in fame, myth, legend forum called MacThemes back in the day. A group of fine people congregated there to customize our computers, right? So we made, like, do you guys remember Winamp? We made like Winamp skins, IRC skins, icon packs. I made so many wallpapers. So we're just kind of making icons for fun and training that skill for a long time. And instead of going out here in Copenhagen for the bars, I'm kidding. I still went to the bars.
Yeah, I was like,
but I would sit back at home and actually draw little pictures on my computer. Always a hit with the ladies, right? So I'm just drawing little pictures on my computer. But then the iPhone came out. And I think we're a group of people that were like uniquely positioned to make these types of icons and this type of graphic design that we had just been making in our pajamas at home, right? And so that, I think, really catapulted my career because we're quite good at this, and I got so much work. And icons have always been important for interfaces, but it was really popularized by the smartphone revolution. The smartphone revolution was also the app icon revolution, I would say. And so suddenly here was a small group of people that are like really good at this, making this sort of stuff. And so during my career, I've made thousands of app icons for clients around the world, big and small, and that's sort of been like a central part of it. And even to the extent that I made tools for other people to make app icons. So I was sitting one day at home and I was like bored of making the same stuff over and over again. So I bought a domain called App Icon Template, and then I made a free Photoshop template, uploaded it, and it got more than 1 million downloads. And actually, most app icons in the early days of the iPhone were made using my tools.
Oh, wow.
And I know this now because when I made the book, I asked people to send me their source files, and I could see that they made it with my tools. So I think icons have always been a central part of it. And then fast forward to the book, I felt like it was weird that there were no such thing in the world, right? Logo books, we all have them, they're beautiful, big tomes. Yeah. Probably some of these books are like coffee table books with logos. And I thought, why haven't anyone made a coffee table book for app icon design? And so I thought, I'll do it. And then very publicly, I tweeted it out, bought the domain. I was like, I'm making a book. And it took 4 years to make this one, the first one.
Yeah, the first one was
the
iOS icon book.
Yeah.
Everybody forgot the tweet.
Yeah, no, people kept me to it. And the thing is, like, it's really tricky to make a book. Like, I didn't want it to just have my work. It would have been much faster just to put my work in it. But I, of course, wanted to capture all of this art that had been produced in the first decade of the iPhone, and later on the Mac also, because I was stupid enough to do it again. But I mean, it was a lot of work, a lot of license agreements. You become like an internet archaeologist, where you have to like dig out of old files and get who do I need to sign, who signs for this and. But it was pretty cool, like, and the books started to come together, and then I did the Kickstarter, because working on something for 4 years, you go a little crazy. Like
I can imagine.
It's weird, right? And you, right at the end, you're like, do people even care, right? And I also learned something making the book. It was kind of harrowing, actually. So I just wanted the art to be presented and put it on that pedestal that I think it deserves, because it's such a cultural thing. We've had these icons in our pockets for a decade, right? It's people organize their home screens. They have live debates when Instagram changed their icon or whatever. Icons have become a lot more like personal in a way. And so I thought we need to capture this, right? But working on the book, I found out that a lot of the art is disappearing. It's going away. And so it really taught me something about the ephemeral nature of the work that we do as graphic designers. Oh, everything is on screens. It just kind of disappears.
So it's like a memory book of the apps.
It ended up being
Some of them doesn't exist?
No, many of them doesn't exist. This is like a little time capsule of the art that was made. And hopefully the next generation of designers will look at it and think it's pretty cool. Yeah.
What do you think about the icons nowadays? Maybe nowadays it's much better, but what I mentioned that a lot of apps don't care about their icons, and they just put circle or a few one.
Yeah, I have many thoughts about that.
This upsets you?
This upsets me, yes. I think, but I also think it's too bad, right? Because I think the icon is the most important visual aspect of any digital product these days. It's even to the point where if you look at branding, which I've also worked in for quite a lot of years, made lots of logos, they are now starting to take on more icon-like qualities, I would say. You see more and more logos.
Yeah.
Icons and logos are two separate things, right? We could have a whole discussion about that. I always cringe when people call it app logos. It was like, that's not the same thing. But we've seen logos take on this more square form, and that's been the influence of the app icon for sure. And I think if people just put their whatever glyph on a colored background, I think sometimes that's fine, maybe, but they're also kind of missing out on making something interesting with their most important visual element. Yeah.
They think that it's unnecessary to spend money on this because we have logo, I think.
Yeah, probably, but they're wrong.
Yeah.
They'd be wrong.
Another lesson for you, viewers.
But also, I think icon design in general is a great place to start if you want to get into design. I think that's also a good lesson to take away, is that if you want to get into design and you try to design an app or a website, those things are pretty big to design. There's lots of dependencies, and you have to think about how it all connects and all that stuff. I think icon design is slightly closer to art. And it somehow makes it more approachable for new designers, I think. So yeah, I always recommend starting there, and I have made lots of tools for that. So
Yeah, exactly. People are using the Michael's tools for decades.
yeah.
Go be one of them.